Hi, my name is Ryan Espinoza, and this is my video over my wheelchair project. So one of the first things I have to talk about here is I had to visit two public places. The two places I went to was Walmart on Navarre and Chipotle on Navarre. So the first place I ended up going on this wonderful journey in the wheelchair was to Walmart. When I got there, the parking lot was freshly paved, so I could propel very well, except for when you get by the entrances and there's a lot of cars coming and they're already having to wait for people. Then you get there and you're like, well, you got to wait for me to wheel across. So I felt like a heavy burden there. It wasn't a great feeling. As soon as you start getting around people, they definitely notice that you're in a wheelchair and that you're wheelchair bound. Um, so then I get up to the door, automatic doors, huge. Automation is so good for people with disabilities. It was really nice to have that option. So I wheeled right in, got in there. Staff, extra nice because you're in a wheelchair, which is kind of expected because it comes with like this feeling of like people feeling sorry for you, and that's not always a great feeling either. So I get in there, go over to the asparagus because I was going to grab some asparagus, and that's mid shelf, so it was kind of tough to get to. So I grabbed the asparagus, and I'm like, well, where's the bag to put the asparagus in? I look up, it's on the very top of the shelf. So I was like, well, I can't get that if I'm wheelchair bound. So what I had to do then was navigate my way over to the fruit, find one of them reels with the bags on it, one that had bags in it because some of them didn't have bags. So I had to keep going until I found one. So I was able to reach that, put my asparagus in, and then go on from there. And then I went to the chicken and the meat, which the spacing in the store was fine. Like if somebody was there, I could navigate around them, or you could work something out with somebody. So the space was sufficient enough for me. But I got to the chicken, and it's not like you can like look through each piece of meat because you're not like quick about it. Plus, you just feel like you have eyes on you, and you're like, what are these people thinking? Like, am I in somebody's way? So I just grabbed a chicken. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Was like, where's the chicken breast? Again, chicken breast, mid-shelf. Had to really stretch and extend to get that, and I could only grab one, and whatever one I could get, I had to take. It wasn't like I could pick which one I wanted. So I grabbed that, feeling all these eyes on me, not really, getting pretty uncomfortable at this point. So then I went over to the self-checkout. While I got over there, staff again, super nice. Didn't offer to help though, which I would see where that would come off as being rude if you offer to help somebody who is wheelchair bound a lot. So I get up, scan my items. That was tough because, well, even to get there, you have to set the stuff on your lap, and it's moving, sliding all over the place wherever it wants to go because it's not in like a shopping cart or a basket. I mean, you could probably grab a basket and set all your items in there, but then you have a basket on your lap, and that once that topples over, you're in for a nice little treat there. So again, I'm back at the checkout, scan my items, and then you have to set it in like the bagging area, and otherwise the sensor goes off. So that was a treat because I had to go forward a little bit, set my stuff down, finish, pay, which wasn't too bad to reach. That was fine. But the bags to put my items in were really far back. Like, I mean, I had to reach a good amount and lean. If somebody doesn't have the ability to lean, that's going to be troublesome, So I got all my stuff, was like, let's go try out the bathroom. So I get into the bathroom, go up to the handicap stall. There's a guy in there. Had no clue there was a guy in there. Because usually when you're on your feet, I don't know, it's like you can get up to the door to where you can at least see like a foot and stuff. And a chair, you're like farther back, so you can't really see. Even though you are lower to the ground, you just don't really have that ability to check and see if somebody's in there beforehand. So I ran into the door with the footrest. I was just going to open it up with that. Well, there's a guy in there. He comes out super apologetic. Like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Like, which it would be a terrible thing if you really had to go to the bathroom when you were disabled and you had no more time left to hold it and somebody's in there. And that's the only way you can go to the bathroom is if there's handrails to get up. So he was super apologetic. I explained to him it was just for a project and that he's fine and it's okay because I didn't want him to leave feeling bad. So I go in there, grab the bars, get myself up. If the bars were not there, would definitely be a struggle. I mean, even if you had no use to your legs, I don't think you really could be able to do it. Like you'd have to have them bars. So then I get out, go to the hand washing station. Automation is so huge. It's like it made my life so much easier being in the wheelchair because you got the automatic sink, the automatic soap. The only thing that was tough was about the sink is I had a long sleeve shirt on, and from everybody else previously washing their hands and like throwing the water off their hands, it got right on the lip of that sink. So when I would go in to wash my hands, you're so low to the ground that you have to kind of rest them there. Well, then my shirt got soaked right on my forearm, so that wasn't cool. Then I went over to the dryer, dried my hands off, which was automatic, which was super nice. The only thing that was troublesome there was if somebody was coming into the bathroom at the same time I was in the wheelchair, it wasn't happening. It had to be one at a time, otherwise none of us were getting through. But all in all, the aisles and the parking lot were fine to propel myself. And then my next stop was Chipotle, one of my favorite places. It was great. But I get there, unload the wheelchair, get back in, go onto the sidewalk. The sidewalk to me felt super narrow, but it was fine on its width. It's just, you don't really have a whole lot of wiggle room. If you do mess up, then you're going off the sidewalk. Get to the door was really hard to open. It kept wanting to like shut on me. I had a heck of a time getting in there. So I got in there. One positive thing about Chipotle was that I got the biggest scoops I've ever gotten in my life. But you just feel super judged, like everybody watching you. So after that, I leave Chipotle, come to my house. My sidewalk's a little bumpy, so it was tough. But I don't even have a ramp to get into my house. So the only part I could get into my house, there's stairs that go up into like the main level of everything, and there was no way that was possible. The carpet was super hard to propel on. I have a dog gate coming into my kitchen. Had to get rid of that to be able to go through, and even then it's super tight. My bathroom is like one straight lane, same way as my kitchen. There's no turning around in there whatsoever. You have to go in and back out. So that made it super tough. And I don't have any grab bars, so I had to cheat and use my legs to get up. Unloading the wheelchair was quite the task. Like, there's a guy at my old job who had like a crane hook that would get his wheelchair in and out for him, which is really nice. If you don't have one of those, you're in for a really tough time. Like, it was, I mean, even for the trunk of my car, I mean, it fit, but it had to be like a certain way for it to fit. So that would be tough if I was disabled to get it that certain way. The insights that this project gave me were really huge on what it would be like to be disabled. I mean, you don't really understand what somebody goes through until you put yourself in their shoes. When I was out in public, it just felt super hyper aware of everybody else. I couldn't enjoy just here or just me being me, like I was like, well, what are they thinking? That group of people laughed. Like, what did they say about me being in the wheelchair? Like, it's this giant mental game that happens as soon as you're in a public place in a wheelchair. And it's honestly unfair. Like, they shouldn't feel any of those kinds of feelings. But it was really insightful to feel how challenging and difficult it is, not only physically, but also emotionally. My feedback on this project is that it was a really good project. This is going to help me huge with my patients that are wheelchair bound. I know that what tools could help them out, what tools could hurt them, what obstacles they may be facing, and generally it just makes me more empathetic towards them. And I'm glad I had this experience. I would recommend doing this project with everybody. I think everybody in the world should be in a wheelchair for a little bit to at least see what it's like. It was a really good experience. I'm glad I went through it, and that'll definitely help me treat patients that are in a wheelchair in the future. Thank you. Have a nice rest of your day.